At 24, Sam OSullivan thought he was invincible. An elite athlete and Aussie rules star, nothing could stop him. Then one day 7 months ago, he felt a bit off. At first, he thought he had a hangover, then possibly the flu. But he didn't get better. It turns out an extremely rare, flesh-eating superbug had invaded his body and was ripping through his muscles. The microbe was as virulent as it was frightening. Doctors said if he was lucky, he'd survive, but they'd have to amputate limbs. The more likely outcome, they said, was death. Sam OSullivan, though, was having none of that. Sam OSullivan could well have been born with a football, so deep is his passion for the game. But the backyard battle for the family flag was always just a rehearsal for this rising Aussie rules star.
Sam OSullivan's mark was one of them.
It certainly was one of the highlights for the match.
This is Sam in full flight, with no idea he's about to become one of the unluckiest young men to have ever lived. Within a matter of weeks, Sam goes from a super fit footballer to fighting for his life.
I just want to walk again.
In September last year, Sam was struck by an incredibly rare superbug. When it does strike, it's often deadly and indiscriminate. It can attack anyone. No one knows why this time it chose Sam.
I'm going to get through this. I have to get through it. I woke up one morning with terrible shin pains, to the point where I just couldn't handle it anymore, and I knew something was wrong, and I was in hospital for the next couple of months fighting for my life.
Along with terrible leg pain, Sam had a rash and flu-like symptoms. But initially, doctors here at Box Hill Hospital in Melbourne had no clear idea what was wrong with him.
I was in panic stations at that point, and no one could tell me what was going on, and I was having blood tests, urine tests. It was pretty confronting.
His pain started increasing, but nothing was still hanging together to one particular diagnosis.
Plastic surgeon Dean White and infectious diseases specialist Lin Lee Lim headed up what would become two medical teams fighting to save Sam's life.
Probably the clue that something was seriously wrong was at the 24-hour mark, and he was not clearly responding to the antibiotics that had been started on.
Sam's admission to hospital didn't bring any immediate answers. Now on strong antibiotics and under the eye of a growing number of specialists, Sam confoundingly just became sicker and sicker. The pain in his swollen right leg was intensifying. The red-purple rash was spreading. With Sam clearly at the mercy of a mystery illness, doctors had no choice but to do exploratory surgery. What they found was chilling. The lower half of Sam's right leg was a medical disaster zone. Most of his muscle there irretrievably destroyed. What would have happened to Sam if he wasn't diagnosed correctly?
Oh, there's no doubt he would have died, basically.
The surgery revealed Sam was deep in the grip of one of the rarest and deadliest infections known to man, necrotising myositis. To have that confirmed, that you are now dealing with this super aggressive, super rare superbug, what was that like?
You know, we would just have to watch and wait and pray. Sam would be in for the fight of his life.
Still, no one knows how or why Sam got necrotising myositis, a bug that literally eats the flesh. It's caused by bacteria that are usually quite harmless. One is streptococci, the cause of sore throats and tonsillitis. But in incredibly rare cases, when the bacteria enters the bloodstream, it becomes a killer, moving through the body, destroying muscle, often in a matter of days, sometimes hours. Sam's parents, Joss and Mary, thought Sam had the flu. To now find out he was fighting for his life was a devastating shock.
We did some research and found out, what a horrific infection it is, and that's when, the fear and horror and just the actual reality hit that this was really serious.
We were sitting there holding hands, shaking, knowing that there was something really, really wrong.
Now that doctors knew they were fighting an aggressive infection, for the next 8 hours they worked to remove it, only taking a break to inform the family there were no guarantees. On that Thursday night, did you know how critical it was?
No.
Did it get to that point where you said a farewell to your son?
Yep. We didn't get a chance to say goodbye,
No,
but...
no.
Sam was now in an induced coma and over the next 10 days had a further 6 operations. No matter what they did, the superbug was still in control, still eating away and killing Sam's muscles. In turn, the surgeons had to cut out more and more dead tissue. Worryingly, the telltale rash had now appeared on Sam's other leg, his left arm and a finger. When you see that spread to his other limbs, how concerned were you that he might lose those limbs?
It's very concerning because you really got to be quite aggressive and get ahead of it. And you're cutting away tissue and you're trying to balance getting rid of all the dead stuff and trying to preserve his long-term function.
But with 70% of the muscle destroyed in Sam's right leg, doctors had to warn the family that even if he survived, he may never walk again.
I just kept thinking, okay, let's just forget about everything else. Don't worry about the amputations. Don't worry about the not playing footy. The main focus at that point was for him to survive, for him to live, and that is what we had to focus on.
Alongside the surgeons' battle with the superbug, the infectious diseases team under Dr. Lin Lee were also waging war, trying to contain it with drugs. In all, nearly 100 medical staff worked to save Sam's life.
Even at that stage, we did not feel comfortable that we could predict the outcome. As a team, we were all certainly very worried.
For a week, Sam was kept in a coma. Every day and every new operation was to try to stop the advance of the superbug until it failed to appear for a day. And then another. And another. At what point did you think Sam will make it?
You sort of hold your breath for a good 3 or 4 days.
That's a lot of worry, a lot of uncertainty, isn't it?
Absolutely, for everyone.
8 o'clock, the phone rings, and she says, Mary, it's okay, Sam's okay. I just want to let you know that we're taking him off life support. And I was like, oh my God, what? So I'm just crying and in shock. Anyway, Sam gets on the phone, and his voice is very, very hoarse. Obviously, he's had all the tubes out, and he just goes, Mum, what the F? And I just, I knew at that point. I was like, oh my God, he's back, he's back.
When you first came out of your coma and you saw your leg, what was your reaction?
I still thought it was Thursday. I'm going, well, hang on, I just went in for a standard operation and now I've been told I'm not going to play footy again, I'm not going to walk again. I was just, are you kidding me? Surely you're joking. I couldn't comprehend what had just happened.
With the battle to save Sam's life seemingly won, doctors now turned to rebuilding him. If there was any chance that this elite sportsman would even just walk again, he would need more surgery. This time, the removal of a healthy muscle from his back to replace all the muscles in his right leg destroyed by the superbug. It required hours of delicate microsurgery. And for Sam's family, once again, hours of anguish.
I was sitting there for 2 hours by myself in his room, just going, shit, they've taken off the leg, the leg's gone.
What would that have done to Sam, do you think?
The possibility of him then losing the leg after all of that, he's strong, but, you know, how strong do you have to be?
Boy, Fries, good kick. Nice kick.
It's hard to believe, but this is Sam now, 6 months on. Now what are you doing running? You're not even meant to be walking.
I know, I just can't get enough of it.
Yeah, you can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the king.
Looking pretty good.
In action, Sam looks like all his Port Melbourne teammates, untouched and untouchable.
The leg, here it is. It's actually looking very, very good today.
People sometimes forget what I've been through, and I've been through probably the worst time of my life, and I guess I'm just trying to get back to normal and, you know, get back doing what I love best, playing footy, living life to the fullest.
And seeing Sam's scars reveals just how extraordinary normal is. I'd be proud of those scars if I was you.
Yeah, I'm super proud. I mean, I think that's something to be pretty proud of, the fact that I was able to mentally and physically get through what I've gone through.
Do you worry that he's pushing himself too hard too soon?
No.
I've got to say, we did laugh in hospital when they said he won't be walking for, 2 weeks, and Joss and I both went, yeah, I'll give it 2 days. So, and you were literally off in 2 days. So you mark even higher next time.
Sam may be lucky to have survived, but from day one has been determined more than anyone to live. From his first steps...
Okay, that's enough.
Absolutely.
I'm just upset because...
to the realisation of how tough it could be.
I just want to walk again. I did certainly have down days where I just think I couldn't go on, but, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always something that you can positively change.
Sam is now recovering from a recent, hopefully final surgery to give him greater control of his right foot.
Hey guys, how you going, mate? Good? Yeah, good. How are you?
His dream is to soon return to an elite level of VFL and to return to the carefreeness of life before the superbug.
I'm in awe of my son. I think, wow, that the fact he's come through this whole scenario, he's laughed at times in the midst of this horror. His strength and determination, I knew it was there, but to see that in such a huge way, I'm totally just in awe of him. I think he's fantastic.
Do you ever get angry?
Yeah, all the time.
How does that anger express
All the time.
itself?
Oh, anger drives me a bit. It drives me to try and do things because I'm like, oh, why couldn't I do that? And then I'll try it the next day, and I won't be apprehensive about it because I think if I didn't try it, then I'd be more angry. I'd be more disappointed in myself.
To be blindsided by a superbug that you'd never heard of before, does it make you feel a little more vulnerable? Does it make you a little more careful?
Nah, not at all.